Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and we are presented by the Hula Bowl. Today I have with me a diamond in the rough. His name is Mike Dilla. He's a guard out of West Florida. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me, Jimmy.
Hey, nice to have you, bud. I mean, obviously coming out of a good program there at West Florida. Interesting, story there with the university in and of itself, but let's just kind of talk about you for a little bit. Bring us up to speed. Give me like a brief summary, if you don't mind.
So I came to West Florida directly out of high school. I went to high school in South Florida, in a small town. It's called Stewart. I went to South Fork High School. Played all four years there. Loved it out there. So I got to UWF in 2017. Was my true freshman year. I didn't start up until our second playoff game. I played in every game, just would rotate, just didn't start until our second playoff game. And then just started ever since. 40 ended my career with 40 consecutive starts at right guard. So couldn't really ask for a better situation there.
Awesome. So obviously a very experienced player. You said that most of your starts were at right guard?
Yeah. When I first came in, I was playing left guard. And then due to some injuries and stuff, I moved to right and just was there ever since.
Gotcha. So what do you feel is like the best thing that you bring to the table as a prospect? Is it that experience or is it something else? What do you feel is like maybe one of your better attributes?
I'd say my experience is a big strength. Rarely anyone coming out of college has that many starts as much as I do. And really, you could have as many practice reps as you want, but game reps is the most important thing in my opinion. And if you don't have those, I don't know, it's going to be hard to perform, especially at the next level.
Gotcha. And when we're looking at the next level, what do you feel are really just the characteristics of an elite interior lineman? Like, what does that interior lineman look like?
Just extremely physical, finishes his plays, but also on the other side of it, extremely smart. You got to know, because you're working with two different people, center and tackles.
Gotcha.
What these guys are doing.
So, is there a player like at the next level that you look at, study, that you're a fan of? Like, who's the one player that plays on the line right now that you're a big fan of?
I'm a big fan of Quentin Nelson. He's a stud. He just gets after it every play, and every time the Colts are playing, I'd turn them on just to watch him. Really.
Yeah, I mean, definitely one of the better guards in the National Football League. I mean,
yeah,
I want to say. Out of all of the guards that I've talked to, he's probably the favorite of everybody that I've talked to. So I mean, obviously picking a good one there to study. So as I was talking about earlier, very interesting story there at UWF. I mean, really hasn't even been playing football for all that long. I mean, you figure comes into the fold about 2016, and then. Obviously, you come in there and really a lot's changed, because like you guys somewhere in the past 5 years, a couple of years back, actually were able to win a national title, which is awesome. And now you guys have gotten yourself to the point where like you're a very competitive program. So talk to me about like how that has developed over the years and how you guys are able to roll with the best of them.
Yeah, it's just crazy just thinking about how like far we came from the year before I even got here. So in 2016 was the first year they played other competition, but 2015 that team, they just practiced against themselves. So to go from literally not having any games to winning a national championship, playing in two conference championships all within the last 5 years, it's been crazy. We just really our team motto is Arte. And we just all bought into that. It's like the Greek word for excellence. So just holding each other accountable. And we have a really tight locker room with the program here too. So I think that's been a huge help also.
Gotcha. Just very briefly, if you don't mind, a lot of great talent there. Name drop a couple people that impressed you there as teammates.
Obviously our safety, D'Anthony Bell, he was a stud this year. Shay on just on defense right now. Shay Campbell is our starting linebacker. Mike linebacker transferred from West Virginia. He's number 2. And then on offense, David Durden, receiver number 17. Austin Reed, our quarterback, is obviously a stud. And then a running back, Shamari, little number 5. He's great running back to block for. So.
Gotcha. And I just kind of feel like even though you're moving on, you're still going to have a program there at West Florida that's just going to continue to win games, be in the running for conference championships and even national championships as the years unfold. So, so Mike, one thing that I've talked to a lot of small school players about, like yourself, is the COVID year. COVID year meaning 2020, because unfortunately, in 2020, you guys really weren't able to play any games, right? So talk to me about 2020 for you, like what you were doing, how you stayed motivated during that time.
Yeah, it was tough. Like with not having football, we didn't even get to do spring ball. We did all spring workouts, and then we went home for spring break. We're going to come back and start spring ball, and we didn't even get to have any practices even. And then so COVID year was actually kind of good for me in certain ways. I got to hit the weight room really hard. I ended up losing like 35, 40 pounds almost
Awesome.
During that year. Got down to my playing weight now. It's like 315. We worked out really hard, and and then in the fall we did a lot of workouts and some practices, but then in the spring we did a lot of practices, and we ended up doing 2 outside competitions against Albany State, and then we went to do a joint practice with FAMU. So that was really good to see where we're at, kind of, especially against a D1 program, because we played our first game this year against McNeese State. So we knew it was gonna be a test for us, and we did good against both those teams. But yeah, it was obviously tough not having games and really just practicing to practice. But I think it made us closer as a unit and as a team.
Yeah, I mean, definitely able to take a Division II team and really be competitive against a Division I team. So obviously being able to go down there and I think didn't you guys win that game
versus McNeese?
You won one of them, right?
Yeah. We beat McNeese in this regular season, and then we didn't really keep score against FAMU, but we definitely beat them.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I mean, obviously, again, like I was saying, I mean, excellent program there for you guys. So, walk me through. I mean, again, having won a national championship, does that kind of ranks amongst your best accomplishments there?
Yeah, I would say that was about the top of them. And then we got our first conference championship this year and beat Valdosta State, which is one of our big rivals in conference, for the first time in the regular season to win the conference championship this year. And then just personal, I was able to get a first team all conference and first team all region this year. So that was good for me. That was a good way to end the career.
Awesome. Definitely ending on a high note there. Can you share maybe one of those memorable moments, being out there on the field? Is there maybe one play that sticks out in your memory?
Ooh. In the national championship, I'd say, because we were up big on Minnesota State, and then they ended up kind of driving back late, and we're all sitting on offense on the sideline. They're driving. We're only up by 8, and they're driving on us, and we're like, are we really about to lose another one of these things? And then we had one of our DBs had a big pass breakup on a 4th and short, and we just went crazy rest of the field on that one. And then I'd say in our conference championship, just we were up, we beat the heck out of them in that game. So there wasn't anything it wasn't really a surprise after the first quarter. We knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, man. Again, UWF, completely dominating at the Division II level. I mean, there's a part of me that feels like you guys aren't going to be Division II for much longer if you guys.
Yeah, we always joke about that because we got really good other sports teams too here. So I don't know how
Hey,
much longer they're going to stay.
you never know, man. I mean, it takes a few years, maybe, get dominant in something, and obviously
Yeah.
you get yourself to a point where you're marketable and shoot, like you'll jump into like a whole mess of different conferences if it
Hmm.
makes in the future. So,
Yeah.
um, want to get into a couple more things about you. I mean, one of the interesting things that I found out was that you were actually a former lacrosse player. Tell me about you playing lacrosse. I mean, I'm trying to picture this 315-pound dude like playing lacrosse.
Yeah. It was
Obviously, you may not have been that big back in your high school days, but walk me through that experience.
yeah, I was probably like my senior year, probably about 6'4", around then, like 300 some pounds, but it was fun. My brother Jake and one of our best buddies Matt, they played all throughout high school. And then so I played baseball my whole life, didn't even play football till my freshman year. And then so after my junior year of football, my baseball coach were talking to me, trying to get me out there and playing, but I was like, I really want to go try this lacrosse stuff because I used to throw it around with them and shoot and stuff. And I went and got clocked on. I went to one of their games and they had like one of the radar guns out, and I ended up shooting at like 89 or like 88 miles an hour before I even played. And so I was like, yeah, I'll try it this year. I'll stay in better shape and all this stuff. So, and it was a lot of fun. I got they'd call a lot of penalties on me just because I was bigger than everyone. Like just I'd be running down the field cradling, and someone would be in front of me and I was running them over, and they called it like a warding with your head or something. So, but it was fun though, a really fun sport.
Interesting. Again, it's kind of hard for me to envision a guy like of your size doing that. Was that
Yeah,
like the last time that you actually scored some points? Was like on a lacrosse field?
yeah, it sure was actually. They didn't throw me no passes my whole time here.
Well, I mean, of course. I mean, obviously you're offensive lineman, so it's very rare that you guys actually even get to touch the ball. So, um, but fun stuff there. How do you feel like that your experience playing other sports like baseball, like lacrosse, has really helped you as an overall athlete and football player?
Yeah, I think just especially lacrosse more than baseball, just the like almost finesse aspect of it that would help me with my footwork and my athleticism because I was running around with kids sometimes 200 pounds less than me, and just keeping up with them and moving around them sometimes and just really helped my athleticism. I think just playing different sports is really important. I don't think you should just play one growing up until you find that one that you're really good at.
Right. Well, I mean, again, like you were saying, I mean, being a guy who's about 300 plus pounds, I mean, running with these guys that are like half your size
Yeah.
or even less, is definitely kind of interesting, showing a little bit of your, overall athleticism for sure. I keep
Hmm.
thinking to myself too, like with your experience, like actually, you know, maneuvering like a ball, like have you practiced any at center at all?
Yeah, I actually played. I played center my whole junior year of high school,
But I'm
and
saying, but recently, have you
oh
tested
yeah,
out?
I would just take some snaps at practice, like hitting the sled or do a couple one on ones at center and stuff like that, just
Gotcha.
to keep in the swing of
Have
it.
scouts like asked you to maybe move or has anyone suggested that or no?
No, I think everyone just kind of, I think they like me at guard really, just because of my both.
Yeah, I mean you're a pretty big guy. I mean somewhere between 6'5" and 6'6", depending on whether or
Yeah,
not you got your cleats on, I suppose. So I mean, obviously, pretty decent size there. I mean, um, could potentially move around a little bit if need be, but I mean, being able to
yeah,
have
for
a little
sure.
bit of that agility to, come out and pull and do that. I mean, definitely helps you in that regard. Um,
Yeah,
so
for sure.
obviously had a long journey there. You started a whole bunch of games. Just kind of as we reflect on your time of being a football player for UWF, what would you maybe tell your younger self if you were able to go back in time and give him a little bit of advice to prepare him for his journey?
I would just say getting the I would say, like, to myself in high school, get in the weight room and the film room earlier and become more of a technician earlier on. Because before I got to college and got with our O-line coach, Steve Sonia, he's a great coach. He's coached all over the place, played at NC State. Really great coach, probably one of the best offensive line coaches in the country, in my opinion. But I always said, if I had came here and got to be with him for a month after my freshman year, and then was able to go back and play high school, I've been a totally different player because I just didn't have the technique yet. And then it would just change my game so much because I've always been big and strong guy. But just learning all these techniques and becoming a technician at offensive guard just really elevated my game to a whole new level.
Yeah, and again, like you had said, I mean, you kind of came at the game of football a little later than typical people, like,
Yeah.
coming in as a freshman in high school versus some guys that start when they're like 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, definitely a guy that obviously, as you have developed and had some great coaches there at UWF, I mean, really developed into a solid guard. And really the best in your conference for sure, because you were named first team all conference. So obviously,
Yeah.
some good stuff there. So let's get a chance to meet who Mike Dilla is outside of a football player. So tell me a little bit about yourself, some of your hobbies, interests, anything that you want to chat about. Go for it.
Yeah. So I got one older brother. His name's Jake. He's like 16 months older than me. He's in pilot school right now. He's gonna be a commercial pilot. And then I have my mom and dad, Patrick and Aaron. And like I said, we're from a small town called Hope Sound. It's down south a little bit above West Palm Beach area. Hobbies. I got into golf recently over over summer break. Started playing some golf. So that's an expensive hobby I have now. I just went hunting for my first time this last weekend, and I really like that. So that might be another expensive hobby that I'm picking up. So I gotta find something cheaper maybe for my next hobby.
Interesting. Well, I don't know. Pick up a book or something. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
No, it's all good. So, obviously, the goal really is to get to the next level, to get to the NFL and to play. If that wasn't an option, what do you think that your profession would be?
So I got my undergrad in supply chain logistics management, which is a business degree. And this past fall, I just started on my MBA, Master's of Business Administration. So I'm gonna finish that up no matter what happens. I'm gonna finish that up, and I think I'll be done with that next spring or summer. And then from there, I'm just gonna get in the business realm. Might think about sales of some sort, management. I'm not really locked in on one sector yet, but definitely be in business.
Sure. Well, I mean, obviously you got a fallback plan for sure, which is great. I mean, it's nice to have a couple of degrees
Yeah.
and a little bit of direction. So, I mean, I
Mhm.
like that. So, what if you, obviously, the goal is to get to the next level. You get that one big paycheck. Like, if you had the opportunity to maybe donate to like one cause or charity, is there maybe something that you would, focus your interest in?
I would say multiple sclerosis research. My mom has the disease, and it would hit close to home. And I would love to be able to help out on that cause and just find some better cures and better medicines to help people out who are struggling with that.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, obviously something that I feel like a lot of people could certainly relate to. So,
Mhm.
Mike, this has been fun sitting and talking with you a little bit about you and your story. Um, I want to try and also just as we wrap up to give you the floor one last time, address all those scouts that might be interested in you, may want to know, a reason as to why they need to take a chance on you and really give you that opportunity at the next level. So go ahead and give them your last minute pitch.
I'll just say that every time I step out on the field, I'm gonna give it 100%. And I've done that ever since I put on the helmet and shoulder pads. I played through played through a bunch of injuries. Obviously, playing as many games as I did offensive line, you're going to get hurt. There's a difference being injured and hurt, I think. So just I'm gonna bring it 100%. And also, like I was saying, I've developed into a real technician on the offensive line, and I'm always looking to learn and grow. And I never really think I'm too good, obviously, to learn something new from someone else. And especially at offensive line, there's so many new things to try and to do, and it's really not, you can't really try anything wrong. I'd say just figure out what works for you, but just that I'll show up to work every day, give it my all, and it's and I'd say I play really physical too. And I always bring that to the table. You need that at the guard position. You need to be a mauler and just be one of the most physical people on the field, and I think I bring that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a very big physical guy that can play on the offensive line, very experienced. Again, like you had mentioned, 40 consecutive starts, knows what it's like to be a part of a winning program and having a winning attitude and, being able to, listen to coaches and mold yourself into the best player possible. So, I mean, I definitely feel like those things really, give people a reason to maybe turn on the tape, watch you play, and maybe even give you a shot at the next level. So again, I do feel like you have a lot going for you. So Mike, I do wish you best of luck as you move forward in your next journey. So any last parting words?
No, I just really appreciate you doing this for me. Had a good time talking with you today.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Mike. Again, I have with me, his name's Mike Dilla. He's an offensive lineman out at West Florida. So thanks again, buddy.
Appreciate it.